champion!
She gave to me the opportunity. I know I can finish her. I know the girls can take my punches. I know that.
I'm sure you'll get your second belt, but
listen, I've spent a lot of time, Joe.
It's a very talented gentleman, but we're talking about Brock Lesnar.
UFC lawsuit update. In the recent turn of events surrounding the class action lawsuit against the UFC, a pivotal decision has been made by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. This decision denied the UFC's appeal and is likely to set the stage for a trial in 2024. This signifies a significant step forward in the legal battle. Judge Boulware, who is presiding over the case, has expressed a strong desire for expeditious proceedings. He has also made it clear that he intends to unseal all records related to the UFC antitrust lawsuit, with minimal redactions made only for sensitive information such as health and contact details. This move towards transparency is crucial in ensuring a fair and thorough examination of the case. Overall, these recent developments mark a crucial juncture in the class action lawsuit against the UFC. The unsealing of pertinent records, along with the potential revelation of fighter payouts, brings a new level of transparency to the proceedings. As the case progresses, this newfound information may play a pivotal role in shaping the outcome of the lawsuit and could have far-reaching implications for the sport of mixed martial arts as a whole. UFC fighter payouts unveiled. The unsealed UFC lawsuit documents have revealed a comprehensive breakdown of the payouts made by the UFC to fighters from 2011 to 2016. This financial information provides a detailed insight into how fighters were compensated for their bouts during this period. The report, filed by expert Roger D. Blair, includes a category referred to as internal Zuffa bout compensation. This encompasses a wide range of payments, not only including the standard show and win bonuses, but also performance bonuses, pay-per-view bonuses, side letters, and discretionary bonuses. Essentially, it covers all financial transactions related to a fighter's bout. Although the individual fighter names were not directly linked to each payout, the report did specify the number of bouts each fighter had participated in up to that point, as well as how many fighters received similar payouts. This information enabled analysts to make educated guesses about the identities of the highest earners in the UFC during this time frame. For instance, it may be challenging to pinpoint which of the four fighters received $27,000 for their seventh UFC fight in 2016. However, it becomes apparent that the fighter who made an astonishing $1,042,736 in the same year for their UFC debut was none other than CM Punk. Similarly, with the knowledge that two fighters reached their 27th UFC fight in 2016, it is reasonable to deduce that they were Jeremy Stephens and Frank Mir. These unsealed documents not only shed light on the compensation structure within the UFC, but also raise important questions about fairness and transparency. The information disclosed in the report provides a foundation for further discussions regarding fighter compensation and the distribution of revenue within the organization. As the lawsuit progresses and more details emerge, the financial landscape of the UFC and the well-being of its fighters may see significant shifts. Ronda Rousey's UFC payouts. The recently unsealed lawsuit documents have shed light on the payouts of several prominent UFC stars. This information has been deciphered with the assistance of business expert John Nash, who helped identify the fighters corresponding to the payout amounts listed in the UFC's internal compensation records as presented in Roger D. Blair's expert report. One of the fighters whose earnings were revealed is Ronda Rousey, a trailblazer in women's MMA. Her payouts for various fights have been disclosed. $574,720 for her fight against Liz Carmouche, $1,817,907 for her bout against Miesha Tate, $870,969 for her match with Sarah McMahon, $1,063,688 for her fight against Alexis Davis, $1,458,282 for her bout against Kat Zingano, $2,642,204 for her match against Beth Correa. Two potential payouts of either $4,476,662 or $4,536,932 for her fight against Holly Holm, $4,879,766 for her match against Amanda Nunes. These figures provide a comprehensive view of Rousey's earnings over her UFC career. It's worth noting that Professor Robert Topol's expert report, also included in the unsealed documents, further corroborates these figures. According to Topol, Rousey received a total compensation of $13 million for participating in 7 UFC bouts, of which she won 6.
Nunes with a big right hand, Mike, and again, she hurt her again. Performance by Amanda Nunes. Stunning, devastating.
She gave to me the opportunity. I know I can finish her. I know the girls can take my punches. I know that.
Ronda Rousey!
This sum encompasses the period from her fight against Carmouche to her loss to Holm, aligning with the figures transposed from Roger D. Blair's expert report. Additional information about Rousey's contract terms has been made available. For her last 2 fights, she received a base purse of $3 million, with $500,000 allocated for non-title fights. Additionally, she earned a PPV bonus structured in a tiered system. For every PPV buy rate ranging from $200,000 to $400,000, she received $1. This figure increased to $2 for buy rates between $400,000 and $600,000, $3 for buy rates between $600,000 and $900,000, and $4 for buy rates exceeding $900,000. This newly disclosed financial information provides valuable insights into the compensation structure of UFC fighters, particularly high-profile figures like Ronda Rousey. It highlights the complex interplay between base salaries, bonuses, and PPV revenue sharing, giving a clearer picture of how fighters are remunerated in the world of professional mixed martial arts. Analysis. The disclosed payout shed light on the earnings of several high-profile UFC fighters during the period between 2011 and 2016. Notably, Conor McGregor, one of the UFC's biggest draws, received substantial compensation for his matches. In his bout against Chad Mendes, McGregor earned a total of $3,285,000, which included a discretionary bonus of $2.11 million. His fight against Jose Aldo, whether it was $4,476,662 or $4,536,932 figure, was noteworthy.
And again with the leg kick. Nate's having a problem with that leg, Mike.
Diaz.
Again, slams it. Simultaneously, how does this all feel to you?
Where the is my second belt? I've already got.
He threw. Slept him. Wow. I'm sure you'll get your second belt, but
Listen, I've spent a lot of time, Joe.
Aldo, his opponent, received $2,377,699 for the same match. McGregor's encounters with Nate Diaz, both the first and second fights, garnered him $5,576,315 and $5,615,490 respectively. These fights were highly lucrative, with the first Diaz fight generating a staggering $61 million in pay-per-view revenue. McGregor's showdown with Eddie Alvarez was particularly lucrative, earning him $6,812,374. The pay-per-view event for this fight amassed an impressive $66 million. Brock Lesnar, a prominent figure in the UFC, also secured substantial payouts for his matches. In his bout against Alistair Overeem, Lesnar received $3 million. However, it was his fight against Mark Hunt that stood out, as he garnered an impressive $8 million. Notably, Lesnar's competition for the UFC 200 event was structured differently, with a substantial flat fee of $8 million.
Tremendous victory. Tell us about the first round. It looked like you were in trouble. What were you thinking?
Is the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion.
I fell off the horse against Frank Mir, and tonight I got on that stallion and rode it out of town, baby.
Georges St. Pierre, another celebrated UFC fighter, had a series of well-compensated matches. His bout against Jake Shields resulted in a payout of $4,314,289, whereas Shields received $580,000. St. Pierre's fights against Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz, and Johnny Hendricks yielded earnings of $3,197,908, $4,116,690, and $3,555,344, respectively. Anderson Silva, a legendary figure in the UFC, also commanded substantial earnings for his matches. His encounters with Vitor Belfort and Yushin Okami garnered him $2,506,034 and $2 million, respectively. The highly anticipated rematch with Chael Sonnen saw Silva earning $2,506,034, while Sonnen received $1,050,000. Silva's fight against Stephen Bonner resulted in a payout of $2 million. His matches against Chris Weidman, both the initial encounter and the rematch, earned him $3,222,253 and $4,374,326, respectively. Silva's earnings from these high-profile fights demonstrate his financial significance in the UFC. Jon Jonas, despite being a perennial top pound-for-pound star, had relatively lower payouts compared to some of the other PPV draws. His encounters with Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort, and Chael Sonnen garnered him $2,278,553, $1,566,196, and $2,750,000, respectively. Notably, Sonnen received $1,050,000 for his fight against Jones. Jones' matches against Alexander Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, and Daniel Cormier, the first encounter, resulted in earnings of $1,173,560, $1,237,880, and $3,637,500, respectively. His compensation for these matches reflects the financial dynamics of one of the UFC's most prominent fighters. It's important to note that these figures represent the officially reported payouts and include base purses, bonuses, and a share of the pay-per-view revenue. They starkly contrast with the inflated figures previously published by Forbes, underscoring the need for accurate reporting in the world of professional sports. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.